I've been preaching for the last month that the way you can determine if a stock is going to take off and give you exponential growth is if you can find a stock that is a company that is hiring more people, building its workforce, and raising money to take advantage of a growth opportunity. That's what it happens. If you own a hardware store and you want to open up another hardware store because your first hardware store is going so well, the first thing you got to do is buy a new building, furnish that building to make it a hardware store, and then you got to hire people. That's what companies do when they have a growth opportunity, and that's what will give you exponential growth. So today, I see that my Iran stock is down. Iran Energy. It's a Bitcoin mining company that is using those computers to also gear up to be a data center. And they came out, IREN, and announced that they are entering into a $1 billion at market facility. So I looked that up on ChatGPT, and here's what I came up with. Iran Energy Limited is a leading Bitcoin mining company, recently announced the establishment of a $1 billion at-market facility to support corporate processes. And basically it goes on and says it's creating a flexible ability to access money by selling stock at whatever rate it is at a given time to raise money for their growth. So then I said to them, okay, what is their growth? And I go and I put in their growth per share, estimated growth earnings per share in 2024 to 2025 was from a negative 29 cents to a positive 9. And I asked them to do the calculations, and they said, well, that was a 131% increase from a negative 29 to a positive 9 cents. And then their projections are from analysts that they're going to grow from in 2025 from 9 cents to 99 cents. And they tell me that's a calculation. That's 1,000% increase in earnings. And then in 2026, it's going to go from 99 cents to 132. That's a 33%. And then they tell me, okay, if you annualize that over the 3 years, that's the equivalent of a 555.17 rate of return on that stock. That's a 5Xer, okay? That's exactly what it is. So then, as a result of that, I see that the price goes down as much as 20%. So what do? I go in and go to my account and I buy another 400 shares. So I'm up to 2,400 shares. I got almost $26,000 in it. I bought it today at $10.40 and it closed at $10.81. So I made a little money. What really blows my mind is this is my Seeking Alpha sheet. I'm in earnings. I'm looking at what are their earnings going to be. And there it is. It's telling you that it was down $3.19 loss. Then in 24 it was 29 cents, and now in 25 it's up 9, just as I showed you. And now it's going to go up 99. That's over 1,000%, and then 33%. And you can see their revenues are growing as well. And yet the stock was down 20% today. Why isn't everybody else queuing into this? Why does they're in the data center business through Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin goes up, they're mining and they're making money. All right, that's win. And their projections are up. And then again, I want to take you to their financials. And I want to, you can see their revenues are growing here from, in 2022, it was 59 million. Now they're up to 205 million. I think that's almost a 4Xer. Their revenues are going up. And then what I wanted to show you is, as I said, what companies do is when they're growing, they have to increase their sales, their workforce. So they went from 26 employees to 144. What's that? That's what, something like a 6X increase in employees. Well, that's what you do when you're growing. You borrow money. That's why they got the $10 billion access, and you hire employees and you make more money. Now, will this go on forever? No, but we're in the build out stage of data centers, and Iron Energy is one that you need to be aware of because it's growing. Ended the day down 10.3%. As I said, I got it at about 40 cents lower than what it is. And then it says in the aftermarkets, it's up another 9 cents. So it was a good trade. I just want to share this with you, and I do that on my cheat sheet and in my tell sheet. And here you can see, where is IREN? Here it is all the way down here. Let me bring that down a bit or up a bit. There's IREN. It's my number one stock. It's projected to grow at an average of 242% earnings per share growth. It's got a PE ratio of 91, which is high, but its PEG ratio, you divide the growth into the PE, and its PEG ratio is 0.38. This is a bargain. Be aware of it. Now, what I then did today was go and get all the information I could on this new borrowing of $1 billion. I fed the articles into my podcast, and then I created a podcast for you to go to, and you can listen to the podcast and get a total take on what IREN is up to now.
Dive into some fascinating news coming out of IREN Ltd today. You know, that Bitcoin mining and data center powerhouse, right? They've just gone and secured themselves a $1 billion at-the-market facility.
Whoa. Talk about making a statement. That's a seriously powerful move.
It definitely got my attention. So for anyone who might not be familiar with this, an ATM facility is basically a way for a company to sell shares directly to the market over time. Instead of a one-time stock offering, they can kind of raise funds gradually as needed.
Right, exactly. And that flexibility is key, especially with the markets being, well, let's face it, a bit of a roller coaster lately. This gives IREN the freedom to act strategically and capitalize on favorable conditions when they arise. It's like having a financial war chest ready to deploy whenever opportunity knocks.
They're a growing company. They need money to take advantage of a growth opportunity.
Having a secret weapon in their back pocket. So I'm curious, why would they need this kind of financial firepower? What are they planning?
Well, first of all, they've set some pretty aggressive expansion goals. They're aiming for a mind-blowing 57 EHs of Bitcoin mining capacity by the second half of 2025.
Whoa, slow down a sec. For those of us who don't speak crypto jargon, what does EHs even mean?
Good point. EHs stands for exahashes per second, and it's basically a measure of how much computing power is being used for Bitcoin mining. The higher the EHs, the more Bitcoin you can potentially mine. So 57 EHs is basically saying, we're coming for the crown.
So they're not just dipping their toes in the mining pool, they're going for a full-on cannonball.
Exactly. They clearly see the potential for huge growth in the Bitcoin mining industry, and they want to be a dominant force. But that's not all. They're also diversifying their portfolio in a big way. They're building this massive data center, codename Sweetwater.
Yeah, I read about that. It's supposed to be huge, right?
Huge doesn't even begin to describe it. We're talking a 1,400 million facility. That's enough to power a small city. And it's set to go live in April 2026. This tells me they're not putting all their eggs in the Bitcoin basket. They're strategically positioning themselves in the broader data center market, which is exploding right now.
Yeah.
So there you have it. That's why IREN is my number one holding and my projected number one growth stock from 25 to 2027. If you want to hear the rest of that deep dive, and as you can see, I do a deep dive on every stock that I own, from Apple to Vertiv. And every one I update on a regular basis, particularly if there's any breaking news like there was on IREN, and when there's an earnings report, I put in the transcript of the earnings report, my bots that go in and analyze it and give me a breakdown so that I know what I'm buying. And I know where their future is, and so that I don't have to rely on some talking head on TV or on YouTube. I get the information as it becomes available by having access to data, knowing how to gather that data, translate the data, and then, well, guess what? Make good investment decisions. I want to ask you one more time. Take the opportunity to get on the bus. Go to the link in the description. Come learn how to use my tools, and then get a 14-day free trial. And if after 14 days you believe, hey, this can help me make some money, Well, then just let the credit card go through and let's make some money together by understanding what we own and why we own it. Let's dig into this even further.